if you had to break down at least in a few steps the most important things to consider before going applying for a grant, what would it be if you'd like to share with the audience?
Well, you got to understand one, you have to understand the needs of the community,
Mm,
right? What is there? You don't want to be in a position now where you're going to be duplicating because I see a lot of duplicating.
mm,
Um, Partnerships, stakeholders, it's something like very simple. Sometimes too, the people who have the money
mhm,
or the funders, they don't really understand the problems in the community. So
mhm,
it needs to be you have that dialogue first. But once again, too, putting together a solid project, it takes time. And unfortunately, sometimes organizations only find out that there's funding available
mhm,
maybe 10 days before, and then you got to scramble and put something together.
mhm,
So something that I approach it I've always taken is that I always have on the back burner different projects or programs that can be used for various things and it can be adapted.
got it.
But I've also once again spent a lot of time being proactive and speaking with funders even before there's a call for proposals.
Mm,
Because
okay.
whether it be Canadian Heritage, whether it be TELUS, any agency, I called them up and I asked them, I would like to find out more about your project, your program, even though there's not a call right now. And sometimes they're themselves, oh, well, we're not, there's no call for proposals right now. And I
Mhm,
said, I know that, but I want to prepare for the future. So
mm,
it's a job. It's a job. You have to take it. It has to be strategy.
strategies,
You're not
right?
the only, me as the organizations I work with, and I tell them, you're not the only person applying. Just
Hmm.
because you send in an application doesn't mean you're going to get it. So
Right.
you've got to put yourself in the best position to get that grant or to get that funding.
Mm,
So the same way you're going to, try to, you're going out, you're trying to impress your partner. You got
mm,
to do that dance and stuff like that. And unfortunately too, sometimes a lot of these organizations that get funding, it's just based on relationships that
really.
they have.
Okay.
We call it the politics or whatever of who you know.
Mm,
That's reality too as well. So
got
the
it.
people on the outside, how do you get inside? You have to have a strategy.
Mm. I want to move on to this segment called If I Had the Chance to, right?
Yeah.
So that's a segment where if you had the chance to sit down with your 16-year-old self
Hmm.
and say a few words to that person, what would you tell a 16-year-old Brian?
16-year-old Brian. Well, I would have said, you know what? When investments come your way, like Bitcoin, there's a thing called Bitcoin that's going to come your way. Make
Mm.
sure you invest in it. However, I was part of a black investment group when I was in university. I was even just thinking about that today.
Yeah.
But a 16-year-old Brian, I would say, Brian, put a little bit more emphasis in your schoolwork because I was a good student,
Mm.
but I didn't push myself.
Could have been
I
better.
could have been better.
Right,
Could have
right.
been better because I was me. I was like probably like a lot of youth is to say, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to be a professional baseball player or a professional
Yeah.
football player. Good grades because that was expected from me from my parents. But I
Mm.
could have done better. If I look at it now, yeah, I could have, you know, writing instead of like writing assignments the day off or studying for exams. You know, I tell people this: when you're doing math, you can't study for math exams. You have to do the problems and work them out. I
Yeah.
would be studying, go in the book and say, okay, this is how this is done. This is
Right.
how this is done. And then when you get a question now with problem solving,
Mm.
so yeah, math is all about problem solving. So yeah, make sure you do your homework and give 100% in everything that you're doing
It's amazing.
because that's what I'm expecting.